Welcome to EduRev.
Hello everyone, welcome to EduRev. Now in this video, we are going to continue our discussion of the first chapter of geomorphology, the solar system and the earth. So let's just continue. Now, let us discuss what are asteroids. Asteroids are rocks revolving around the sun that are too small to be called planets. So asteroids are nothing but simply space rocks. They are made up of dust, ice, and various minerals. Okay. Now, these are simply space rocks, and these are too small to be called planets or even dwarf planets. I hope you're understanding. And there are millions of asteroids ranging in size from hundreds of kilometers to few feet across. Okay. And they are found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So, between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, you have millions of asteroids which are revolving around the sun. And these are simply space rocks, which are too small. Now, this area is simply called the asteroid belt. Okay, so I hope you understood what are asteroids. Now, on 20th October 2020, recently, NASA spacecraft called OSIRIS-REx, it approached Bennu, a carbon-rich asteroid, and collected a sample from its surface. So, this sample will be analyzed, and according to the scientists, this sample will help us in understanding the origin of the solar system. So, how solar system formed? That secret lies in studying the samples taken from asteroids. Clear? So, this is an important current affair. So, that is the reason I'm mentioning this here. Now, let us try to understand what are meteoroids. So we know that there are millions of asteroids and they are all moving around the sun with very high speed. So sometimes they smash into each other, which will lead to tiny pieces. These tiny pieces are nothing but meteoroids. Clear? So meteoroids can also come from comets. So please keep this in mind. Now simply meteoroids are nothing but tiny pieces of space rocks which are either coming from asteroids or comets. Now, what is meteor? So, let's just try to understand the difference between meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite. So, we have three terms here: meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite. So, I hope you understood what is a meteoroid. So, simply meteoroids are nothing but tiny pieces which are coming from space rocks. So, they can either come from asteroids or comets. Clear? Now, what is a meteor? So sometimes meteoroids they come close to the earth and they get pulled by the earth's gravity and they start falling through the atmosphere. Now we know that the atmosphere is made up of gases and it offers friction. Okay? Now the meteoroid is passing through the atmosphere with very high velocity. So there is a lot of friction. So a lot of heat is generated and the meteoroid gets burnt up. Then it forms a streak of light in the sky like this. Then we call it as meteor or simply shooting star. Clear? And then most of the meteors get burnt up before they reach the surface, but sometimes some small resistant part might remain. And once it falls to the ground, you call it as meteorite. So just look at this animation, it explains everything. So first you have a meteoroid, which is pulled by the Earth's gravity. Then it is falling through the atmosphere, it becomes meteor. Once it falls to the ground, it is meteorite. As simple as that. So let me just explain this one more time for the sake of clarity. Sometimes meteoroids come close to the Earth and they enter the Earth's atmosphere and they start falling to the Earth's atmosphere with very high speed. So a lot of friction, a lot of heat is generated. So the meteoroid simply vaporizes and it forms a streak of light in the sky, which we call a meteor, or we can also call them shooting stars. And most of the meteors get vaporized, they get burnt up, and sometimes some resistant part might fall to the ground, then those tiny piece is called meteorite. As simple as that. So I hope you understood the difference between meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite. So moving on, just look at this wonderful animation. So this streak of light is a meteor and it falls to the ground. Then it is called meteorite. As simple as that. Clear? Now, what are comets? Comets orbit the sun like asteroids. And comets are made up of ice such as water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane mixed with dust. So, just let us go through this statement one more time. Comets are made up of ices such as water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane. So, here, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane are also called ices in astronomical terms. Okay, so the meaning of ice, which we know, and the meaning of ice according to astronomy is different. So, in astronomical terms, when I say ices, I'm referring to volatiles. Okay, volatiles or highly unstable compounds. I hope you understood this. So, comets are made up of ices such as water ice, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane mixed with dust. These materials came from the time when solar system was formed. Clear? Now, comets have tails, right? So that is one of the most prominent feature of comet. So how does this tail come? Let us first understand that. As a comet's orbit takes it closer to the sun, the ice and dust begin to vaporize. That vaporized ice and dust becomes the comet's tail. So first we have to understand that the comets orbit the sun in elliptical orbit. So this is roughly the shape of elliptical orbit. Okay. Now in the middle we have sun. So sometimes the comet is very far away from the sun, or sometimes the comet is close to the sun. So when the orbit of the comet brings the comet close to the sun, the ice and dust present on the comet will begin to vaporize due to the sun's heat. Then that vaporized ice and dust becomes the comet's tail. As simple as that. Clear? So comets revolve around the sun just like asteroids. Please keep that in mind. And we know that the comet's orbit is elliptical. Same like the orbit of the earth around the sun. It is elliptical. Now this is the shape of ellipse or elliptical orbit. So in the orbit, sometimes the comet is very far away from the sun or sometimes the comet is close to the sun. So as the comet comes close to the sun, the ice and dust present on the comet's surface, they begin to vaporize and they form the comet's tail. So comet's tail is one of the most prominent features of comet. That is how you can actually differentiate a comet from an asteroid. Clear, right? So I hope you understood the concept of comets. Now, let us try to understand the term astronomical unit. Now, the mean distance or the average distance of the Earth from the Sun is 149,642,000 kilometer. So now let us try to understand the term astronomical unit. So the mean distance or the average distance of the Earth from the Sun is this. Okay, now why am I using the term mean distance? Because the orbit of the Earth is elliptical. It is not a circle. If the orbit of the Earth around the Sun is a circle, then there is no concept of mean distance. The distance between the Earth and Sun will always be constant if the orbit of the Earth is circle around the Sun. But we know that the orbit of the Earth is elliptical around the Sun. So sometimes the Earth is close to the Sun. Sometimes the Earth is far away from the Sun, and sometimes the Earth is close to the Sun because the orbit is elliptical. Clear? So, the average distance of the Earth from the Sun is this. We roughly take it as 150 million kilometers. Okay? Now, this distance is referred to as 1 astronomical unit or 1 AU. It is very convenient to use this unit in describing the distance of other planets from the Sun. So, first we have to understand that astronomical distances are very huge and we cannot describe them in numbers like this. So, that is the reason the average distance of the Earth from the Sun is taken as 1 astronomical unit for the sake of simplicity, and this distance is used to describe the distance of other planets from the Sun. So, I hope you understood this. Clear? Now, let us try to understand this very important concept called Goldilocks zone. Now, what is the special point or unique point about the Earth? The Earth is the only planet in the solar system which supports life. Yes? So, as far as we know, Earth is the only planet in the solar system that supports life. As far as we know. Because there might be many more planets out there which can support life, but as far as we know, Earth is the only planet. Because we did not discover any alien life as of now. Clear? Now, the Earth is the third planet from the Sun. And the Earth is not too far and it is not too close to the Sun. If the Earth is too far away from the Sun, then the Earth would be too cold. If the Earth was too close to the Sun, then the Earth would be too hot. But the Earth is at a perfect location from the Sun. It is not too far and it is not too close. The Earth is in the habitable zone or Goldilocks zone. I hope you're understanding. Now, what is Goldilocks zone? The Goldilocks zone refers to the habitable zone around the star where temperature is just right, not too hot and not too cold, for liquid water to exist on a planet. Clear? So, the green zone describes the Goldilocks zone or habitable zone. So, any planet in Goldilocks zone is at a right distance from the star, where the temperature is not too hot or not too cold. The temperature is just right for liquid water to exist on the planet. So, this is the criteria for Goldilocks zone. So, this is a very important concept. It has been asked many times in the exam before. So, let us go through the definition once. The Goldilocks zone refers to the habitable zone around the star where the temperature is just right. It is not too hot and not too cold. The temperature is just right for liquid water to exist on the planet. Clear? So, the green zone here describes Goldilocks zone. So, the red zone is not Goldilocks zone. The blue zone is also not Goldilocks zone. In the red zone, the planet is too close to the star, so temperature will be very high. So, liquid water cannot exist on the planet. In the blue color zone, the planet is too far away from the star, so it is too cold. Again, liquid water cannot exist on the planet. So, the green zone here represents Goldilocks zone, where the planet is at the right distance from the star and the temperature on the planet is just right. It is not too hot or not too cold, and the temperature is perfect for liquid water to exist on the planet. So, that is the concept of Goldilocks zone. So, guys, we have discussed some very important concepts in this video. I hope you have understood that. So, thank you so much for watching this. Keep learning, and I wish you all the best.